Welcome back to Miss Max Academy. We're in Chapter 21 Quiz A. In this video, we're going to cover questions 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to read the prompt. A company manufacturing computer chips finds that 8% of all chips manufactured are defective. Management is concerned that employee inattention is partially responsible for the high defect rate. In an effort to decrease the percentage of defective chips, management decides to offer incentives to employees who have lower defective rates on their shifts. The incentive program is instituted for 1 month. If successful, the company will continue with the incentive program. So first we're going to take a minute and write the company's null and alternative hypotheses. So the null hypotheses. Well, the null hypothesis is the defective rate is 8%. The alternative hypothesis is the defect rate is lower than 8%, which means the incentive program is working. Okay? So again, the null hypothesis is the defect rate is 8%, which you see here. Null hypothesis, P equals 0.08. And the alternative hypothesis is the defect rate is less than 8%. P is smaller than 8%. So this tells us this is going to be a one-tail, lower tail test. Okay? In this context, describe a type 1 error and the impact such an error would have on the company. So here's the table I gave you last class about errors. A type 1 error means that the null hypothesis was true, but we rejected it. So what would that mean in context of this problem? Well, a type 1 error would be deciding that the percentage of defective chips has decreased when it really hasn't. Okay, so again, a type 1 error would be saying the percentage of defective chips has decreased when in fact it has not. The company would waste money on a new incentive program that does not decrease the defective rate of chips. That would be the impact on the company. Okay, so a type 1 error would be deciding the percentage of defective chips has decreased when in fact it has not. The company would waste money on a new incentive program that does not decrease the defective rate of chips. Okay, and wrapping up, in number 3, it says, in this context, describe a type 2 error. And over here, we see a type 2 error tells us our null hypothesis is false, but we failed to reject it. So in this context, describe a type 2 error and the impact such an error would have on the company. A type 2 error would be deciding the percentage of defective chips has not decreased, when in fact it has. Okay, so the null hypothesis was the defect rate is 8%. So if the null hypothesis is false, our alternative is it's less than 8%. Okay. So again, a type 2 error would be deciding the percentage of defective chips has not decreased, when in fact it has. The company would be missing an opportunity to decrease the defective rate of the chips. So if they didn't have the incentive program, they may be missing an opportunity to decrease the defect rate of chips. Tune in again for the next episode of Miss Max Academy.